so I know everything happens on command. So we do this. But first of all, I just want to say, it is my honor, it is a privilege for me to be here before you today. I never take this for granted. Two commodities we have in life, time, pay, and money. And you can't get any of it back. And so the fact that you're giving me an opportunity to share you within this moment means the most to me. I want to be grateful for my wife, Allison. You guys give her a little clap. And of course, my sister, Felicia. And of course, I want to thank you so much, Captain Mott. Thank you again. All right, so tonight, during this short period of time, you may laugh, you may cry, you may dream, you may achieve, you may do many things. Again, I came out of Camden, New Jersey, and I'm going to walk you guys through a story of a dreamer. And that story of a dreamer can be very much like yourself. And before I do, I want to kind of show you something I do at a lot of my sports camps and my life camps. And again, this exercise I'm going to have you do, it takes order, it takes structure. So when I say, give 2 claps, you're going to just clap. And that's it. Not 3 claps, not 4 claps. So I want to thank all the staff that's here that made this happen. Let's give 2 claps. I want to thank all the retirees of the armed forces. 2 claps. Again. I want to thank all the current servicemen and women. Give them 2 claps. Again. And I want to thank everybody that's here that's celebrating this 224th Navy Supply Corporation celebration. 2 claps. All right. See, nobody got push-ups after that. I was just checking. But again, my name is Donovin Darius, you guys. And again, as it says, I was fortunate to play 10 years in the NFL. The average career in the NFL was 3 years. I was fortunate to play 10 years, and a lot of what allows you to pursue the career that you have, what allows you as family members to support the moving, the flexibility, the challenges, is a lot of what we had to face in the NFL. Outside of being a 10-year NFL, as a life strategist and coach, I do a lot of work with NFL as a life coach. So working with them as they transition in the league and as they transition out of the league. Work with them through that transition, because everybody likes change, but nobody likes transition because they can hurt, okay? But again, so I work with NFL players on that as well. I love the motivational speaking trainer. I don't believe I can motivate you, but I can inspire you. Inspiration is inspiring and lighting a fire that's going inside of you, allowing you to motivate yourself. And the last thing, again, as Captain Mata mentioned, I have a foundation in Jacksonville where I serve youth and their families on life skills and resources as we go from there. All right, every journey, there is a beginning. People see your glory, but they don't understand your story. If I gave this mic to everybody in this room, you would say, I have a story of overcoming. There was something in my life that I had to overcome. There was somebody that I had that went through a troubled situation that they had to overcome. People see your glory, but they don't understand your story. It's easy to put on a smile. It's easy to be Halloween every single day because of people around you, or you want to hold faith. But I'm here to celebrate you that everybody has a beginning and everybody has a story. And as you celebrate your story, you'll understand that your glory will be that much. So, story of a dreamer, Donovin Darius. Okay, I grew up in Camden, New Jersey. Camden, New Jersey was the 3rd most dangerous place in the country when I grew up. Inside of there, 1 out of 50 people was a part of some type of violent crime against them. 1 out of 27 people, there would have been some type of theft in Camden, New Jersey. 88% of the population lived below the poverty line. That is my address, 1001 Division Street. Okay? This is what it looked like. A lot of abandoned houses. It wasn't a place you would go through. It wasn't a place that you would really live. But how many of you guys know that some of the roughest things, some of the greatest people in the world came from rough places? Okay? That's our picture right there. Hey. Hey. You say what you want. We got all type of characters there. We got my brother Eugene with the gangster lean. You got Chris, don't know what he's doing right now, shy guy. You got Antoine. Who has kids in here? All right, so you know he about to be about something right there. He about to cause trouble. And then we have that handsome man in a brown suit where the creases are so sharp they can cut that cake over there. And that's one of our friends, Keith Ross, right there, okay? Again, I truly believe outside of God, your family is the most important. They are the most important people you have. What you do is because of your family. Why you sacrifice is because of your family. Because of those loved ones that you care so much about. This birthday celebration would not be a celebration if it wasn't for you. You're all part of a family. And so as we continue to celebrate, here's Felicia right here. This is what she looked like when she was younger. There's Donovan right there. There was me right there, my brother Eugene. And this is my mom right here. And so as you can see, my mom she had 5 kids by the age of 23. So she had a lot of weight to bear. My father, he went to Vietnam. He served the Vietnam War. He came back with different substance issues. But again, I love him to life. And I'm grateful for him. I remember when I was 9 years old, I went out for the Centerville Simbas football team. It was a youth football team. And I remember doing all the drills that they required. I remember catching the ball. I remember doing the speed test. I did everything. And all of a sudden, after the end of the camp, they sent me to a tent and said, that's where you go sign up right there. And me and my mom walked over there to the tent. And the lady, I remember she had a blue sweater, she had some black pants on, and the tent was like a red tent. And next thing I know, they said, Miss Darius, that'll be $35 for me to play for that year. But how many of you guys know? When they said that to her, I'm thinking, all right, Mom, it's about time for you to go in this pocketbook and pull $35 out. But that didn't happen. My mom didn't have $35. And so I can imagine, once we started to walk away, we started to walk back to the car. I can hear my mom sniffling. I can hear my mom basically crying. And so as we roll home in a blue Chevy, okay, a blue Chevy, I see my mother in the rearview mirror. I can see tears coming down her eyes. Because for a mom, you want to be able to provide everything you can for your children. You want to do what it is that you can do to make sure you're providing for them. But how many of you guys ever been in a situation where you want to provide for someone in your family, but you just didn't have what they need? Let me see a round of applause. Let me see your hand. And so as we were sitting there in the car, okay, and I heard my mom crying, something rose up on the inside of me. And so I had a coach, a track coach, that I had talked to. His name was Coach Tag. And this is what he said. He said, life can be hard sometimes. It can seem unfair. It can feel like an uphill climb. People will disappoint you. In life, you will fail. You will fall and get knocked down. But if you set your mind on what you really want, go after it with everything you got, and don't let anybody stop you, then you can have whatever you want. And nobody's opinion of you has to be your reality. That's what my coach told me. And as he told me that, something on the inside sprung up. Something on the inside of me encouraged me to know that no matter where I am, no matter how much Camden is or isn't, that I had the ability to make a change. And so I remember that was on a Saturday. Trials on a Saturday. That next Sunday we went to church. And typically, as a 9, 10-year-old, I was sitting in the pews playing around, not really listening to the message. But it was something about that message that day that really resonated with me. Because the pastor, Bishop Jackson, was at the front, and he said, if you want to do some amazing things in your life, give your life and for dedication, give it over to him and allow God to use you to be a blessing to others. And so usually when I was just used to playing around and having fun and just trying to pass the time, it was something about that message that resonated with me. There was something about that call that resonated to me. And so I found myself going up to church afterwards, going up to the pastor and said, can you pray for me? And he did. And what I thought was going to be a private prayer turned into he stopped everybody in church. And he said, Donovan wants us to pray for him. And when he prayed, I'll be honest, I didn't feel anything. There was no lightning coming down. The skies didn't open and say, hey, that's Donovan, my son, and I love him. I ain't none of that. But here's what I knew that happened. There was a scene in a movie where Denzel Washington, where he said, before this moment, and then after this moment. And what was happening was, for me, before the moment I went up to prayer, my life seemed like it was in shambles. It seemed like we had needed more than we had. But after that moment, it just seemed like after the moment I gave my life to God, after that moment I started to dedicate my life to creating a greater experience for my family. After that, things had just lined up. And so after that, I never played Power Winter football, but I played in high school enough to get a scholarship, a full-paid scholarship to Syracuse University. Something that we could not afford. But I look back to that day when I had that prayer. I went back to that day where I dedicated my life for service. We're here in a room full of servicemen and women. And when you dedicate your life, I found that God rewards you. So here I am at Syracuse University. In my third year, I got a call. When I went in my dorm room, I got a call. It was a voice message machine. And so anybody under 30, there was a machine one time that when you push the button, when you push the button, it said, beep, and it told there was a lot of messaging on it. Well, we had that. And I remember pushing the button, and I heard my mom frantic on the phone. She said, Donovan, I need you to call me right away. And how many of you guys know that sometimes when you can hear the weight of someone's voice, that something is not right? And so I picked up the phone, and I called my mom. I said, Mom, what is it? She said, I got bad news. She said, your brother Antoine and Chris, 2 years under me and 4 years under me, they were at school one day. And while they was at school, somebody chased them up into the gymnasium. And a gang chased them in the gymnasium, and they had guns. And so a good thing that there was police officers around, because police officers came and they ran away. So I asked my brother Antoine, I said, Antoine, I'm about to speak to a group of individuals, and what do you want me to say? What should I say about that moment when I answered the call? He said, tell them, if you didn't answer the call, we wouldn't be alive right now. If you didn't answer the call, we would have never been able to come up to Syracuse to live with you. So instantaneously, that happened on a Tuesday. That Thursday, they were on a Greyhound bus coming to Syracuse. That Monday, they were enrolled in school, both in high school. So instantaneously, I was not only a student, I was an athlete, I was their father, their brother, and their friend. All because of the call. Everyone in here will receive and have received that call to service, that call to do something that's bigger than yourself. And I know what it's like sometimes when you don't realize, can I do this? And you can't see the end before the beginning. But I'm promising you that if you answer the call that's on your life, great things and amazing things will happen. And so, I was able to play 4 years. Okay, 4 years at Syracuse, and I'll never forget the 1998 draft. I was sitting home, and that's where I was. I went to my mom's house, it's Hunter's Glen Apartments, and I was sitting in a white Jeep Cherokee. And while I was sitting in a Cherokee, I was sitting there because I didn't want to be around everybody. It was a stressful thing about it. I go from Seattle, Washington, to LA, to Florida, to Patriots. I wish it was the Patriots, right? Here's what I did do, though. So within all the blue, here's what I did do. So, back at Hunter's Glen, let's go to rewind the tape. Let's take back the Patriots out, and let's put it. I'm in a house. The second door right there, you can't probably see it, but I was upstairs. I was in a white Jeep Cherokee, and it's like a 2-bedroom apartment. My mom had like 500 people in there, and I had no idea how you get 500 people in a 2-bedroom apartment, but they were there. They were there. And so as I'm sitting in the white Jeep Cherokee, I'm trying to get my mind off of what this moment is like, what's about to happen, the stress that comes with the call, whether I get a call or not. And so I was listening to a song in the Cherokee. And it was a song by a person named Yolanda Adams. And the name of the song was, "The Battle Is Not Yours, It's the Lord's." And see, what that meant to me was, Donovan, you did everything you can. Now you must hand it over. And now you want to allow God to work it out the way he wants to work it out. Because I didn't have the answers. If I wanted to control it, I would have controlled it. But I did everything I could. But now it's time for God to lead me. Lead me by his spirit versus drive me by ambition. And so that was the moment. So as I was sitting in the Jeep Cherokee and I was singing the song, I'm not going to sing for you now, but it was a Grammy hit, I'm trying to tell you. So as I'm listening to it, I closed my eyes and my brother Antoine knocked on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Donovan. Jacksonville's on the phone. I was like, what? He said, Jacksonville's on the phone. So I got out of my Jeep Cherokee, ran up those steps, and what seemed like, they're doing the combines this week. If they would have timed me up those steps, I would have broke the world record. I had perfect form. But here's the amazing thing about it. As I got up there, when I got up to the top of the steps, it was like a Red Sea that moved from the Red Sea when Moses parted the Red Sea. And all I can see is my mom at the other end with the phone, holding it up in the air. And so all I can remember is with every step that I took, I started thinking about how we struggled. With every step I took, I started thinking about the doubts and fears that I had. With every step, I started thinking that, hey, my dream is coming true. With every step, I started to remember that, hey, there's a purpose and a responsibility that I have to uphold. And so imagine this, I get to my mom, and think about this. She's handing me, she could not give me $35 to play football, but now she's giving me the phone to the NFL to play millions of dollars. And see, that was so rewarding for her. So yeah, that's me at the helm. That's me right there talking to Coach Coughlin. That's my dad right there. Well, I'm still talking to Coach Coughlin. And then I didn't want to let him go. You sure you're gonna pick me? You sure? And then there it was right there. I was watching the Paul Tagliabue on the television. He walked up to the stadium, over to the podium. He said, with the 25th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Donovin Darius out of Syracuse University. Man, everybody was all excited. Yeah. My brothers, they was like, man, I knew you was gonna bet. Like, man, you ain't know nothing, man. You ain't know nothing. But how many of you guys know that every dream, there's challenges? Every path has its stumbling blocks and its stepping stones. And so for me, the dream was to provide, and the vehicle was the NFL. The dream was to provide for my family and those around me. But the vehicle was the NFL. And so how many guys know that dream had challenges? I'm sure for you, your dream has challenges. Your personal dreams, your corporate dreams, your family dreams has challenges. On the left there, I just tore my ACL on the second game of the season. That game right there on the right-hand side, I just broke my leg again on the Monday Night Football game against the New York Giants. But the dream had challenges. The dream also has celebrations. There's moments in your life through what you're going through the service that you're given, where there are celebrations. Here we have my sister, my brother, and my mom. And I said, you know what? I want to honor her. I want to honor my mom on this field for all that she sacrificed. So what I would do is I would stop the NFL. When I got an interception, I would run into my mom who sat in the end zone, and I would toss it to her. And see, I made the NFL wait to show forth the honor. They couldn't play the game while I was on the field. So I said, this is the way I want to honor my mom. And everybody, why are we not? It's not a TV timeout, it's double D timeout. And so for me, guys, the dream was worth it all. The dream to provide for my family, and the dream to fulfill a dream with those that are around me. And so here we are today, you guys. I want to thank you for your service. As we commemorate the 224th Naval Supply Corps, I'm going to turn this to you now. This is all about you. I'm just a guest of honor just to come speak to you, but you guys are the ones that go through it. So what are some of the challenges? Life is a question, and how you live your life is the answer. Life is a question. How you live your life is the answer. So what I want to do with you guys, and you don't have to raise your hand, you don't have to write anything down, but I learned in life that a lot has to do with our attitude. As a mother, as a father, as a sister, a brother, a child, a captain, a lieutenant, a colonel, it all comes down to our attitude. So I'm going to ask you, in your life, are you contracting or are you expanding? Think about your life. Are you retreating? Are you advancing? Are you shrinking? Or are you growing? Are you saving? Or are you investing into relationships, into other things? Are you investing? Are you limiting your thinking, or are you thinking possibilities? Hey, this may be a new town. I know how it can be when you're shifting all over the place. You don't know where you're coming. 2 years here, 2 years there. Are you limiting your thinking, or are you thinking possibilities? Are you comfortable, or are you uncomfortable? Are you average, or are you pursuing excellence in what you do? It doesn't matter who's around you. This is who I am. Are you doubting or are you a believer? Are you paralyzed by fear or are you walking in faith? See, these are questions for you to introspectively ask yourself. Because again, I don't know the answer for them, you do. And when you check your attitude, you'll see exactly what it is. Flexibility. Anybody have to be flexible in here? Am I in the right room here? Exactly. That comes with the job, right? Here's the quote. When something happens, you have three choices. Okay? Matter of fact, why don't y'all read this with me? Because I want to make sure this hit home. Ready, go. When something happens, you have three choices. You can either let it destroy you, or how many of you guys agree with that? Yeah. All right, now there you go. All right, so too fast. There you go. Again. Man, y'all. Okay, so here we go. Principles of change. Principles of change. You get the call. You got to move somewhere else. What are these principles? Number one, a principle is something. Is a law. Gravity is a law. Whatever goes up must come down. Whatever goes up must what? Come where? Down. So principles of change. Here's some things for you as you're going through your life, as you have to find yourself changing. Whether it's change location, change in your family, whatever it may be. Here's some principles. Number one, change is continual. Change is continual. That means that nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. Every second you live, every breath you have is another breath onto your life. Okay, number two, everything changes. Principle of change. Everything changes. Everything. Number three, change is inevitable. Nothing and no one can avoid it. It's just a matter of time when it happens. And number four, change is a principle of life. Life is seasonal. It doesn't matter how cold it gets in the wintertime. Wintertime to me is a time where things are dried up. You may be confused. You may be unsure about what you're going to do, where you're going to go. But how many of you guys know? In the wintertime, you don't throw away your summer clothes because you know springtime is coming and summer's coming, and summer's right after that. So what do? We find out what do we need to do in that season. Some people in the season of springtime, nothing is there. It seems like, man, things are just running around. Then you get to springtime, now it's starting to sprout up. You start to see a little bit of bud. You get to summertime, then it's work. There's a lot of work. And then you get to harvest time, to autumn, where now the trees and colors, the changes and all, not in Jacksonville, but so no matter what, just know that change is a principle of life, and life is seasonal. How many of you guys right now would say that you're in the winter season of your life, a season where it's dried up, you don't really see where you're going, you don't really know, but you're in that season? Any winter seasons right now? Okay, I see a couple. All right, how about springtime, where you get a chance to plan, you get a chance to strategize, you get a chance to really jot down what your course is. Anybody in springtime right now? Okay, awesome. Anybody is in summertime where you feel like now you got the plan, you got the strategy from springtime, but now you're working it. It's hot, it's pressured, everything. Who's in the summertime? All right, there you go. So there you have it. We have every season. Who did not raise their hand at all? There ain't no such thing as no season at all. But he pointed at her, that ain't right. Remember, you gotta go home with her, man. You gotta yourself. All right, so here we go. We got 4 types of change, okay? So we know that change is inevitable. Nobody can avoid it. But what are some of the types of change? Change that happens. Change that just happens. That's one. Number 2, change that happens around us. Change that happens around us. You may be in a position, you see everybody else change and things happen. But change happens around us. Number 3, change that happens within us. Change that happens within us. See, sometimes when we go through life, we want to control situations, but there's moments like trying up your faith, trying up your, just your character, change that happens on the inside of us. And number 4, change that we initiate. See, we all have an active part to play. We all have an active part to play. So here are the 4 types of change. So what are some ways to respond to this change? Over the history of the 1,000 people that was interviewed for this stuff, what are some ways that we respond to change? 1, you can become a victim of change. Man, every time I turn around, they all keep moving it. Every time I turn around, the government is doing this. Every time I turn around, administration is doing this. Victim. You can become a victim of change. knowing it's going to be here. Number two, you can accept and adjust to change. You can accept and adjust. Anybody, who's the most recent person that had to move away or move to Jacksonville? Anybody? Okay? There you go. Back there. Appreciate that. Give them 2 claps. There you go. Again. I know that's right. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Somebody over here, look. You throw a rock to a pack of dogs, the one that barks, the one you hit. We got you. So you can accept it, you can adjust to change. You can also participate in change. You can participate in that change. You can be part of that. It don't have to happen to you. Number 4, you can prepare, you can plan, and you can initiate the change that you desire. I truly believe that opportunity comes in disguise in the form of misfortune, setback, or temporary defeat. I want everybody to repeat this after me now. Here we go. Opportunity often comes in disguise in the form of misfortune, setback, or temporary defeat. Okay? There's the thing in Japan. The word crisis in English, a lot of times we think of drama, we think of trauma. But that same word in Japanese means opportunity. How many times if we would have looked at our crisis as an opportunity? Well, bombing Hiroshima had killed hundreds of thousands of people in World War II. Seeing the defeat hold the key to unanticipated victory. Buildings were leveled because of that atomic bomb. Seeing the defeat hold the key to unanticipated victory. They held on to hands. They held on to the hands that could and would help them. They worked day and night to rebuild their city and their country. And now, Japan, the one who the bomb leveled out, now they're number 1 in so many categories: cars, electronics, and at home. It's the same thing for us, you guys. As we go through change, we can be changed from the inside out. And so how does it play? How does it apply to you? First, understand the seeming defeat holds the key to your unanticipated victory. Your crisis becomes your best opportunity. If your house burns down, you build another one. If you lose your job, get demoted, you're now free to find another one or start all over or start your own. And last one, while the rest of the world can get paralyzed with fear and doubt, you can know that your change has come and it's only here for you. So one of the things I learned in the NFL is that we always face adversity. I played 10 years. I had 2 shoulder surgeries. I had ACL repair. I broke my leg. I had a hip fracture. I don't know how many concussions I had because it happened in my head. So if I do something wrong, I always tell my wife, I say, hey, blame it on my head, not my heart. So she knows that now. So here it is. So 3 things I learned about adversity. 3 things I learned about adversity in your life. Number 1 is here to teach you. I truly believe you don't lose. You win and you learn. If you learn the lesson that adversity is trying to teach you, you win and you learn. That's it. No losses. If you learn the lesson, you win and you learn. So sometimes it's here to teach you new skills, new things to know how to do. That's what adversity does. Second one, it comes to train you. You have to develop the necessary skills. See, I didn't understand how to just backpedal just by one time. I didn't know how to tackle because I did it one time. But over and over and over and over, the repetition is what made me successful and be able to play 10 years in the NFL. And the last thing, adversity comes to test you. How bad do you want it? See, in the NFL, there's a training camp. And typically after 2 weeks of training camp, everybody is sore. Everybody is tired. Everybody feels like, man, why in the world I'm doing this? But how many of you guys know that training comes to test you? There were some guys on my team who their body was sore, their neck was sore, their back was sore. They just felt like, man, I just want to sleep. I want to stay in the training tub. But you couldn't make the club, we call it. You couldn't make the club in the tub. And so I remember, y'all like that one, huh? Y'all like that one? Let me say that one again. You can't make the club in the tub. There you go. Well, I'm going to tell you about a time that really tested me my first year. We went up against a team. There was a yellow and black team. Yellow and black. Whoa. Are you closer to the door? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding with you. But yeah, my freshman year, my first year in the NFL, my rookie year, we went against this team who was yellow and black. And we was at their place. And they had these yellow towels, these terrible towels. And first half, guess what? They had this running back, and this guy was good. You know what I mean? He was 6'3", 270 pounds, and he was just running all over the place. Anybody know what his name is? He was the what? He was the what? And you know what the bus do? It carried people to school, don't it? So again, I'm a rookie. I'm a young guy. I'm a rookie. But here we going against this guy. So I remember the first half, he was running over people. He doing highs and poses, bam. He doing all types of stuff. And I went into the locker room at halftime, and I'm sitting on my chair. And I'm looking around at people. Sometimes you may have first got into the military, and you start looking around. How do people react to change? How do people react to adversity? You start looking around. And this is what I heard. I heard somebody say, oh, man, coach ain't called this play. Excuse. Oh, man, you know what I'm saying? He didn't make this block. Excuse. Oh, man, he missed that tackle. Excuse. And so as I'm looking around to people that I thought was going to have a positive attitude, I was filled nothing with negative. So while I was sitting there, I heard a thought in the back of my head that said, Donovan, the person that's going to make this change is you. I was like, huh? It's you. And so what I did is I grabbed my helmet, I went into the bathroom, I sat my helmet on the counter, and I looked at myself in the mirror. And I said, Donovan, it's about to go down. So we went out second half, we kicked the ball off to them, boop. They got the ball first play of the second half. Matter of fact, this play I'm about to tell you is on YouTube, okay? So they had three about one. I mean, there was 3 guys over here, 1 guy over there. And no lie, I'm not making this up. Jerome Bettis was in his stands, 7 yards deep, and this is all I heard. I'm in my stands on the other side like, is this dude growling over there? Football game. And so I'm in my stands and I'm constantly thinking this thing starts with me. But then you think, I'm just a rookie. You may be thinking about yourself sometimes. How many of you guys know sometimes we deflate our own self? We make excuses for our own self why we can't do something. And so I'm in my stands. Cordell Stewart was underneath the center. He was like, green 80, green 80. Said, Hunt, snapped the ball, handed it to Jerome Bettis. Okay? And I'm on the other side. So he went to the left. So do me a favor, everybody. Everybody lean this way. Just lean that way. So I'm in my stands, and I take my read steps back, and it's a run. So I'm coming down with every step. It starts with me. Every step, he gonna feel me. Stay over there. He didn't cut back. Stay over there. And every step I'm coming down, I'm saying it's about to go down. And next thing I know, boom! I set my feet. I hit him so hard. He stepped back. He hit him backwards and then to the side. You guys can sit up now. I got up that second. I was like, yeah! I was so hyped at that moment. Why was I hyped? Because that was a challenge. That was something that most people, you know, they kind of drew themselves back. They backed down. But that moment where I had to realize that this was testing me, how bad did I want it? I wanted it bad enough. And so I had to face my giant. I had to face the thing that was in front of me. I couldn't run from it. I couldn't hope somebody else made the tackle. I had to do it. There's somebody in this room that's facing a challenge right now, and it's testing you. It's testing. Are you going to run or are you going to stay? Are you going to run out of a relationship or are you going to stay? Are you going to run away or get away from something that you don't understand or are you going to stay? And so as he got up off the ground, Jerome Bettis got off the ground, shoulders all turned, helmet twisted. He's walking back to the huddle. That didn't hurt. If somebody ever say that don't hurt, guess what? It hurt. I'm just saying, I didn't see a tear in his eye, but all I know is teammates had to put the shirt back on and straighten up his helmet, so that told me enough. But here's what happened from that moment. Every time we played them, we always met the 50-yard line before the game. And we always kind of clapped it up, you know what I'm saying, shook hands, gave each other a hug. Why? Because of respect. Because he respected the fact that Donovan is going to give his best. He respected the fact that no matter what he did, I was going to keep coming. It's the same thing for you. When you overcome a challenge, you go over something that was hindering you before. When you take that challenge on, that level of respect. And that's what we earn from him. So remember, adversity comes to teach you, you win and you learn. Train you, you got to develop the necessary skills, and to test you, How bad do you want it? Here's something as far as the performance environment, where you're at. To everything under the sun, there's a reason, there's a season, a reason, and a purpose. I want you guys to repeat after me. Nothing just happens. Ready, go. Nothing just happens. Again.
Nothing just happens.
Again.
Nothing just happens.
I truly believe in your life. Nothing just happens. Nothing just happens. I know you may be wondering, why am I going through this sickness? Why is my children acting this way? Why are the people on my job doing this? Nothing just happens. It's all for a season, a reason, and a purpose. And so I want you to think in your mind right now for the next 10 seconds. Think about, what is that area of your life? What is that area of your life that's causing you the most pain? What area of your life is causing you the most turmoil? What area of your life is causing you the most misunderstanding? And then repeat after me, nothing just happens. Ready, go?
Nothing just happens.
Again.
Nothing just happens.
Again.
Nothing just happens.
Nothing just happens. Anybody in here, like any of the young ladies in here like diamonds? Who like a diamond? Hey, hey, again. Now, whoa, I'm not putting the pressure on the men to buy that diamond. But here's what I do want to say. Life is like a diamond. Life is like a diamond. Every diamond is known for its different characteristics. When I was shopping for a ring for my wife, and they had all types of diamond, princess cut, marquee cut, all these other cuts, I realized, based off of a certain cut of a diamond, determines its value. And then I thought about life. I said, wait a minute. In life, we become cut. People disappoint us. People turn their back on us. I've been cut by abuse. I went through this and I went through that. It cut me. But the more the diamond is cut, the more value that diamond is. The way, that specific tailor-made way that diamond is cut determines its value. I also learned that color matters. And they said, there's gold, there's blue, there's all these different colors, but guess what they said? The most valuable diamond is the one that doesn't have any color at all. When you can see past color, and see people as human beings, being just like you. Human basically means dirt, spirit in dirt. Man is a spirit, hue means dirt. Spirit in dirt. When you have no color, when you don't see color, you just see someone who is made just like you. When you do that, the value of that diamond increases. When you can look through life and just see no color, but understand a human being, your value continues to grow. Also the clarity of that diamond matters. When your purpose is clear. I'm here to do this. I'm here to do this job. When you're clear in your mind what your purpose is, just like the clarity of a diamond, your value goes up. And the last one, your character. How many women in here want a 5 to 10 carat ring? Hey, all right now. Listen, man, I'm not putting you in trouble. Don't blame me now. I'm just stating the fact. But what they say is the heavier the diamond, the bigger the carat, the more it's worth. And what that means to me in life is that the heavier the weight that you're carrying, the more responsibilities you have, the more weight of your family, more weight of your job, the more valuable you are. See, life doesn't teach you that all the time. Life talks about what we're not. Life talks about what we can't do. The word impossible is I'm possible. I'm possible. Impossible is I am possible. There's nothing impossible for you to do. Absolutely nothing. So as I say, shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Everybody on your table, you should receive a copy of this book. If you don't, please let us know. This book, inside this book, is something that I felt that I needed to kind of get out. The first chapter talks about knowing your value, self-love. How many of us are trying to love someone else more than we love ourselves? What do they say on an airplane? It says when the oxygen mask or the pressure comes in life, it says put the mask on who? Put it on who? And then you help somebody else. First chapter is about knowing your value. Second chapter is about life as a journey. Third chapter is you are designed for success. Sometimes all we can see is just our problems. Chapter 4 is everything has a purpose. And chapter 5 is how you can discover your purpose if you're not sure. Chapter 6 talks about the power that is in you. Chapter 7 is about living from your vision. If you without a vision, people perish. We need to know where we're going. Before we get on any airplane, they put in the coordinates first before that plane ever moves. You gotta know where you're going. In chapter 8, it's just a combination talking about leaving your legacy. What will people know about you when you left? They need to know about you. Leaving your legacy, I actually have an exercise here for you to create your own personal memoir. Because the next generation, the generation of that, is going to need they're going to need to know how you overcame problems. They need to know what was your strategy, how you overcame it. And so by creating a personal memoir, you get that through chapter 8. And the last one, 9th chapter, is just enjoying your journey. Here's my hope for you today. My hope is you realize that you are right where you need to be today. My hope is that you understand that this moment right now is and was for you. And that something was said to encourage you, to motivate you, to inspire you, to let you know that you're not alone. You're not in this room by accident. This message right here was something tailor-made for you. I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Captain Martin, your entire team. Thank Lieutenant Tyler. Where you at, Lieutenant Tyler?
Back here.
Thank you. I want to thank Lieutenant Tyler for his tireless effort in getting me here and doing all this stuff back and forth. And I want to thank you guys for all your service. So let's give yourself 2 claps. Again, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. God bless you all, and may you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the evening. Thank you guys so much.